Today on Let's Fish TV, we're going to be on Toledo Bend Reservoir. Toledo Bend runs along the Texas and Louisiana border and is about 93 miles long. I don't even know what the deepest point is. I've been in some super deep water though, and let me tell you guys, Toledo Bend is the place to be. We're fishing during the post-spawn. These fish have just pulled out on the ledges. We're going to be fishing offshore with a variety of baits from worms, jigs, crankbaits. I'm going to tell you guys, we're going to catch them today. Let's Fish TV is on the air right now.
That is a fish. Oh man, look at this.
It's time for the only program that brings you real-time fishing reports from the Southwest region every week.
Oh my gosh. Oh, look at that. Woo!
This is Let's Fish.
Welcome to Let's Fish TV. I'm your host, Andrew Upshaw, and today we're on a really magical place, and that is Toledo Bend Reservoir. This happens to be one of my favorite places on earth, and let me tell you guys, it is loaded with big fish. No matter if you're crappie fishing, white bass, or largemouth bass, doesn't matter. Fish here just grow bigger. Today we're gonna be targeting largemouth bass on offshore ledges. The fish are in post-spawn right now, so this is the very best time to hit the water and catch your new personal best. We'll also have this week's fishing report from your local region from our insider reporters. In the meantime, I'm gonna get this boat launched, get it set up, toss it back to the studio for your weekend planners.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for tuning in this week. The Solunar tables are predicting good game fish activity Saturday and Sunday. Look for those prime morning hours to begin in the early morning around 3:20 on Saturday and 4:12 on Sunday, with late afternoon action kicking off at 3:47 Saturday and 4:40 on Sunday. Depending on your local area, expect the sun to rise around 6:19 and set around 8:32, and evenings will feature a moon that's 22% visible. Stay right here as we check out all of the current fishing reports from throughout the area, and I'll return with Bassmaster Elite Angler Patrick Walters on this week's Ask the Pro feature. Stick with us.
Today on Toledo Bend Reservoir, we are going to be fishing in prime conditions. These fish are just starting to pull off. We had a little cold front, a little bit of rain, the water came up a little bit, but one thing I've always known is once it hits mid to late May, those fish pull out to those ledges and the fishing gets fantastic. You know, we're going to have some wind today that also helps the bite a little bit, so I have a good feeling that we're going to have a good day. Let's get out there and let's see what we can get done on Toledo Bend. Oh, big one. Oh yeah, that's her there, guys. Man. Ooh. Oh yeah, welcome to Toledo Bend. You know, this lake right here is a very, very special lake to me. It's where I cut my teeth in bass fishing and every other kind of fishing that there is. And we're here at my favorite time of the year, and that is the post-spawn. This is the time of year that you have a chance to catch that fish of a lifetime. You know, one question I get all the time is, when's the best time to catch a 10-pounder on Toledo Bend? Right now. So let's get this fish in. Check this fish out, guys. Look at the size of that fish right there. Just a really nice fish. As you can tell, very much so post-spawn. Real skinny, but real long, big mouth. Throwing one of my favorite baits, and that is the Strike King bullworm. But let's get this fish back real quick, and let's talk a little bit about Toledo Bend and what makes it so special. There we go. So Toledo Bend is one of those extra large lakes right on the border of Texas and Louisiana. And today we're fishing out of Cypress Bend Marina. This lake has an abundance of all types of species of fish, from crappie, white bass, especially big largemouth bass. And that's what we're targeting today. Like I said, you know, this is the premier lake for catching a 10+ pound bass. Now, you hear a lot of lakes in Texas that are kind of like O.H. Ivy, Falcon Lake, and they get all this notoriety for all these gigantic bass, but let me tell you, Toledo Bend is one of those sleeper places that has a good abundance of 10+ pound fish. The other thing that this has a good abundance of is numbers of fish, and that's one thing that's super cool about Toledo Bend. Right here on the border of Louisiana, it is a place that every single day, if you spent every day here for a week, you would have the potential of catching 30 to 50 fish per day and you can't say that everywhere you go. So this place is special. Can't wait to show you more about Toledo Bend and what makes it so special here on the Louisiana border.
Hey friends, Captain Kevin Broussard here with this week's Let's Fish Outdoor Report, coming to you from Lake Calcasieu right here at El Cajun Pescador in Hackberry, Louisiana. I tell you what, boys, y'all went out today. We had 2 boats out. We caught a lot of redfish. Did y'all have a good time?
Yes, sir.
I tell you what, right now red fishing's on fire if the wind blows, but trout fishing's really good if the wind doesn't blow. Lots of birds working in the lake, soft plastics, light jig heads throwing down south plastics, Rockport Rattler jig head. The redfish, live shrimp, shallow, under a 4-horse cork. Can't go wrong there. Tell you what, also real quick, Houma on fire. Lots of trout, redfish, tuna fishing in the Gulf south of Venice. It's also great right now. Freshwater side, I tell you what, lots of reports from all your main lakes. The biggest key is deep water for your crappie, 20 to 30 foot brush piles, light jig head, Rockport Rattler with little tubes, or live shiners seems to be the key. Your bass, they've done moved into the summertime pattern. They're in 15 to 30 feet of water. Deep crankbaits, Carolina rig seems to be the key there. For Old Cajun Field, Captain Kevin Broussard saying, happy fishing, may God bless and let's fish. See you next week.
Oh, they're there. I see them. That's gonna be game on. There's one. Oh! Oh, that's a good one there. How big is that fish? Is that a big one? Oh my gosh, that is a big one. Oh. Oh, come here. Oh, come here, come here. Ah, no. Oh gosh, come here. Oh man. Welcome to Toledo Bend, guys. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this place. Other than being one of the most special places on earth, it has a great abundance of bass like that. You know, one thing that Toledo Bend kind of gets a bad rap for is the last few years, the fishing has been kind of tough. You know, they killed a lot of the grass and the fishing has changed and the fish have set up differently. And today we're going to talk about just how great this place still is and how it still has a great population of bass. Let's get this fish back real quick. There we go. You know, when fishing Toledo Bend, especially fishing offshore in the summertime, there's a lot of different baits to use. And you know, I fished out here for a really long time, and what I've learned over the years is that I can use a couple of different styles of worm and have a lot of success. You know, whether it be your big ribbon style worm like this, like a big 10-inch worm, an 8-inch bull worm, a straight tail finesse worm, something is going to catch them every single time. Now, the big key though is changing your baits up until you figure out what they want. You know, today I'm using the big bull worm. This is just an 8-inch bull worm. And I try to keep it in a red bug or plum apple color, especially on this lake. And I fish it a couple different ways. Today I'm throwing a little stand-up head, but a lot of times I fish it on a Texas rig, a Carolina rig, things like that. But you gotta experiment with these worms to figure out which one they want to eat, because every day is a little different. And you're dealing with post-spawn fish, summertime fish, you just never know what you're gonna get on a given day. So switch things up, switch up a couple different styles of worm, and you'll be surprised just by making little subtle changes like that, how these fish are gonna bite. And when they get in the post-spawn, a lot of times you have to kind of trick them into biting. So slowing down or even sometimes speeding up will help get those bites. You just got to change up your retrieve until you figure out exactly what those fish want. I'm gonna get back out there. I think I have a nice school of fish here, and we're gonna see if we can catch another big one.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Academy Sports and Outdoors, making it easier than ever to gear up and have fun out there. Visit Mississippi. Wanderers welcome. Power Pole. Total Boat Control. Balls Out. Made in the USA. Heavy duty mounts for your fish finders.
Another good one there. Oh yeah. Guys, I'm gonna tell you right now. Oh, there he is. Oh, another good one there. Oh yeah. Guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, if y'all think Toledo Bend is dead, you need to open your eyes. This place still has some giant fish in it. And today we're kind of showing it off a little bit, probably too much. But it's a good place to fish, is all I'm gonna say. There's another giant bass. Just another really good one. Can't boat flip this one, guys. Look at the size of that fish right there. Toledo Bend. I mean, I just can't say it enough. It's just a great place to fish. It's got a great population of fish in it. And my favorite time of the year to fish for these fish is right now. Let's get this fish back real quick. There we go. Oh, look at her, she's sitting there. All right, go down. When it comes to fishing Toledo Bend in the summertime, the fish like to get deep, and paying attention to your mapping makes a huge, huge difference. You know, what I like to do is get on my C-map, my Lowrance C-map, and find little intricate places that are right up next to either channels or some kind of channel turn or bend. The other big deal is paying attention to what depth you get bit in, because it really translates through most of the lake. You know, here in Louisiana, especially on the Louisiana side, there's a lot of different options for fishing. And let me tell you, the fishing is great here. The other thing is paying attention to your line size, or actually not paying attention to your line size. You know, I'm a stickler when it comes to line. I want to have light line. I want to figure out how to get those little bitty bites all the time. When it comes to Toledo Bend, especially here, fishing around timber and things like that, big line is the way to go. I mean, we've caught 3 big ones today so far, 25-pound test. You know, the thing is, we're fishing around these giant trees, big brush piles and things like that. If you hook a really big fish like that, you want to be able to get them away from the cover. In my personal opinion, I don't think line size is as important when you get around big types of cover like that. And this lake isn't abundantly clear, so you can get away with bigger line, bigger rods, big baits, which in turn catches big bass.
Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by DD26 Fishing. Their accessories like steering stops and transom savers are billet aluminum, and there's no metal-to-metal contact. Use the code Lone Star to receive free shipping. Now this week we're going to start with PK, that's Possum Kingdom, and bass fishing. Right now there is a fantastic bite in the late evening into the night on Possum Kingdom for bass. Start with your spinnerbaits, yum dingers, even a buzzbait in the late evening, but once it gets dark, transition over to swim baits and A-rigs, and you're going to be looking for the green dock lights. When you see those, go run those A-rigs and swim baits around the edges and through the middle of those green lights, and you'll catch some good PK bass. Now over at Cedar Creek, the sand bass have already started their schooling, a summer pattern if you will, up on top. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes. Check us out on Facebook, Lone Star Lakes.
Hi everyone, Captain Greg Verm here, bringing you your Texas Coastal Fishing Report. Hey, this past week, red snapper open, and Captain Greg Jr. is slamming giant red snapper along with kingfish, a few cobia, and even a mahi or two. Hey, he's fishing in 80 to 120 foot of water for the red snapper using live pinfish. Now for the kings, he's using Rapala divers in red and white, also rattle traps. For the inshore, hey, here in Galveston and Freeport, the specs are cooperating very well. The North Galveston Jetty around the boat cut has been extremely hot the past few days for good quality speckled trout. And a few slot redfish are mixed in. Hey, summertime is here on the Texas coast, and if you want to get in on some deep sea or inshore action in Galveston, Freeport, or Surfside, give me a call. Check out our websites. We'd love to have you and your family aboard. I'm Captain Greg Verm. I'll see you next week.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Lose, Feel the Difference, Mamba Boats, Ride with Pride, Strike King, Tie One On, Glacier Glove, stay outdoors longer with our gloves, hats, and shades, Fishing Specialties, makers of the premier mount assembly for live sonar.
Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you right now, this isn't your typical day on Toledo Bend. This is a pretty awesome day. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, giant. Here we go. Here he goes. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Golly, guys, this is so great. This place is just so ridiculous. I figured there would be a really big one down there. You can't tell me he didn't want the Strike King football jig, guys. Look how he has it right there. Just engulfed it. Whoo. There we go. I didn't know if they'd get much bigger, but that one definitely is bigger than the last one. Goodness gracious. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you right now, this isn't your typical day on Toledo Bend. This is a pretty awesome day. Let's get this fish back. Let me tell you guys, the fishing right now is absolutely ridiculous, but I want to throttle your expectations a little bit. I'm not going to tell you that every time you come to Toledo, you're going to catch that many big, giant bass every single trip. That just doesn't happen. I kind of rolled up to a spot using my Lowrance side scan, and I found this particular spot, saw some fish on it, dropped my trolling motor down, hooked up my active target, and I was able to actually see those fish sitting out there. But I made a bait change, and I honestly, man, it's all about making bait changes out here. You can't get stuck doing the same thing every single cast. And in that case, I didn't. I actually switched up to a 1/2 ounce Strike King football jig. This is a TD football jig. And one thing that I like to do is mix up the colors between my trailer and my skirt. This is like a pumpkin style color, pumpkin with black flake. And I actually put a green pumpkin blue flake trailer, and green pumpkin blue is just a great color here, especially on a trailer, on any type of jig. And this is my favorite time of year to fish this particular body of water, is the post spawn. As soon as those fish start sliding offshore from their spawning habitat, I can come out here, I can find them with my Lowrance side scan, and once I find them, I'll hit my waypoints, turn around and start fishing for them, and you will see results. Now, you might not always see 5 to 6, 7 pound results, but you will see results pretty quickly if you pay attention to those units and spend your time out here mapping and finding those fish. But I want to see if I can get me one more bite, maybe a couple more bites. The day is young. We'll see what happens next.
Hey, if you just want to do some catching in Oklahoma, and of course we all like to do that, right now is a great time to go to Lake Murray, says Charles Jewell. Charles said the other evening he caught about 40 smallmouth in about a 3-hour period right before sundown, and his best success came 5 to 15 foot of water on main lake points. Best bait was a 4-inch swim bait, best color caffeine shad. Big bass, think about Okmulgee Lake. Mike Taylor and his brothers there are catching some big ones, and they're doing it the way they like to catch them. A big LaRue 12-inch worm, tomato red, rigged weightless, and fishing it right on the top or just under the surface over the flooded grass and flooded vegetation there. You can catch big bass at Okmulgee, lots of smallmouth at Lake Murray, but you can't catch them if you don't go.
Oh, there's one. There we go, guys. Oh my gosh. He came in wrecked on that 6XD. Oh my gosh. Toledo Bend has absolutely showed out today. Oh, golly. And catching them to finish the day on my 6XD, it don't get much better than that, guys. I mean, just absolutely wrecked that thing. I came off a piece of timber, and I mean, just, that was such a fun bite. I mean, this fish needs to get back in the water. We hooked it in the gills. And one really important thing is you don't want to tear those gills when you hook them down there. As you can tell, he's not bleeding real bad, but let's get him back real fast. Ah, there you go, baby. All right, guys. What a day here on Toledo Bend, full of really nice Toledo Bend bass. And I can't think of a better show than to have it on my home water, on my favorite lake, and show you exactly what it's capable of. And I hope y'all have enjoyed today's episode. I know I sure have. It's been hard for me not to just fish every single cast and like try to catch a 10-pounder, but we got to wrap it up sometime. And guys, I hope y'all enjoyed today's episode. I'll see y'all here in just a second.
Watch our latest episode or catch up on past episodes on our website at letsfishtv.com. Be sure to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter for new fishing videos every day. And download the free Waypoint TV app to get all the latest episodes every week on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV. Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Mercury, Go Boldly, Lowrance, America's #1 fish finder, Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, Alabama. Plan or book your fishing charter at orangebeach.com. Motor Guides Tour Pro with GPS anchor, powered by Passion. Coastline Trailers, built by fishermen for fishermen.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's get right to your Ask the Pro question for this week. Zane wants to know, who was your favorite pro fisherman growing up and why? For an answer, we asked Bassmaster Elite Angler Patrick Walters.
My favorite pro fisherman growing up was Kevin Van Dam. He was just the man in that era. He still is probably one of the greatest fishermen of all time. Just his paralysis fishing, just how fast he moved, I'd have to say Kevin Van Dam.
Thanks so much, Patrick. If you want some help from one of the pros, simply go to letsfishtv.com, follow that Ask the Pro link, and submit your very own question.
Here's today's Right Stuff, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Today on Toledo Bend, I use a 3-prong approach to catch my fish. First off, I picked up one of my favorite worms, a bullworm. This is an 8-inch in the red bug color. You know, you can vary your colors based off red, green pumpkin, June bug. All 3 would definitely work right now. I was using it on a stand-up jig head, 25-pound test, contra fluorocarbon, and a 7.2 jig rod. That's what completed that. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys, my favorite bait setup on Toledo Bend is fishing a football jig. And today I was using a Strike King 1/2-ounce football jig, pumpkin green with a green pumpkin blue Rage Crawl, a 7.4 heavy action rod, 25-pound test line again, big sticks, big baits, and that's what you're gonna catch, is those really big bass. And the cleanup hitter today was the Strike King 6XD. You know, I'm gonna show you the rod I was fishing it on though. It's very unique. This is actually the 8XD rod, and we have it in a 3, 5, 6, 8, and 10XD version. I just particularly like the 8XD rod for the 6XD. I get long cast. It's a strong rod. You know, whenever you're hooking really big bass around timber, you need that strong rod to be able to pull them away from the cover. Everything I've talked about and more is available at academy.com. Overall, guys, today on Toledo was amazing. Caught a lot of really nice fish and had one of those epic days that are what most people dream of. But guys, I hope y'all enjoyed today's episode. I hope you learned how to find and catch them here on Toledo Bend. Until next time, I'll see you on the water.